Hello everyone, hopefully it's working now. Cheers Matt, thanks for the heads up. I think I can see stuff, live chat's back. Cheers Matt. I think what it was when I've set the stream up, there's a box you tick whether it's made for kids or not. And because I unticked it, so it thought it's made for kids, it disables live chat. So that's a new one for me. Just looking at the weather, thankfully that's all done. Today, gusts. Let's have a look at the wind. Yeah, I've had gusts up to 35 miles an hour today. From Monday, okay, gusts up to 32 miles an hour, so it's questionable, but we'll see. I'm guess it's going to be workable. Excuse me. But yeah, it's been a hell of a week for me and Matthew. I'm sure the same's been for everyone else with the weather being so damn hot. It's made things a bit difficult and it slows you down for some of the things we're going to talk about on the live as well. And it ends up being a long day. But yeah. Oh no. I was going to joke about Ched because he said earlier, didn't it, it's going to be a hot week, and it ended up being a complete boiling week. And I've just seen a message saying 40-mile-an-hour gusts could be interesting. So could highly likely then be a day I'm not working again, which is all I need. But I'm kind of in an all right position if that's the case anyway. But yeah, God, whenever you say anything, Ched, to do with the weather, it always turns out completely 100% true. Anyway, I'll just go back onto the chats and the comments. So just welcome everyone in. So cheers, Matt. Thanks for getting in touch quickly and giving me the heads up, because I would not have had a clue otherwise. I did just think chat was a bit quiet. Angus saying thought it was just you. Nah, you all right, Angus, mate? Hi, James. You all right, buddy? Hi, Mark. Hope you're all right, mate. Okay, Angus saying all they say, yeah, because you're up in Scotland. I'd rather not hear about how lovely the weather is down south. Oh, no, here's Ched. Look. So tomorrow I'm going off that without going off my weather forecast. Ched's going to be completely 100% right. Ched, mate, you should go and be a weatherman on the news channels. Mind you, that weatherman, I wouldn't mind that job, because it's the only job, isn't it, where some of my customers have joked to me about this, saying it's a job where if you get things wrong, no one seems to really care. All right, Neil, how you going, mate? It wasn't you, mate. It was me. I had to cancel the stream and restart again. Hi, mate. You all right? Welcome. Hi, Marcus, mate. You all right? Welcome. Hi, Sean. Hi, Tao Pro Clean. Ched's just saying you're on the northwest coast, though, sunny Blackpool. Yeah, I've had a weekend in Blackpool. I had a cracking time there. Sorry, Neil. No, it's all me being a biff, mate. Luckily, Matt gave me the heads up, so I just thought, right, cancel this stream and start again. Now I know I've learned something. So yeah, it's just me having the wrong settings. So we've got 16 people watching. Thanks for saying hi to everyone. And yeah, it's been a hell of a week, really. So that's why I thought I'd do this live and just general chit chat. So by the way, if you're new here, any questions, just put them in. Everyone is really helpful. Good community. I've had a couple of gins, but don't worry. We've got some water as well, so I'm hydrating as well. We've got another person in there. Hi, Tels, window cleaning. You all right, mate? Hope it's going all right for you as well. But this week has definitely been boiling for us. Yeah, and it I've had some long days where I've been working till 6 or even 6:30. And I haven't done any extra work. It's just the day is dragged out. And I think the heat kind of slows you down. But it does bring out, which is what I'm going to talk about, your customers, especially the ones who are retired. They're out in the gardens doing what they're doing. And obviously, CU like to have a chat with you, don't they? So all these chats also have an impact on your day and make you later. Although it is nice to have an excuse to stop and get a sip of water here and there as well. And some of these people need the chats anyway, so it's something that comes with the job in my eyes. So I just try and keep up with some of the comments. Hi Paul, you all right, mate? Liked your video, and yeah, you commented on some of my comments as well. So if anyone here hasn't seen it, go onto Paul's channel. He's done a video about the gardener's backpack. Oh, Neil, you absolutely love this weather. I don't like really hot weather. I prefer it a bit cold, me. It's easier to keep warm. So it's another. He merged is saying, can anyone help me? My parts per million coming out at 5. I run a double DI after the pump, only use the DI vessel a few times. Okay, mate. So I guess what you're saying here is it's got to the figure 5 quite quick. I don't double DI. Matt from Your Cleaner Windows, he does. There's a couple of guys here does double DI as well, but they don't necessarily double DI from out the van. They double DI in making pure water to put it into the tank in the van. So my 5 pence here is, I think you find it's, do you know what your TDS levels are, mate? Just put them up in here. Because if your TDS levels are fairly high, it's going to wear out your resin quite quick. Like for me, I'm 260. It can go above that sometimes, parts per million. So I use a reverse osmosis and DI system. Obviously, I think yours is going to be below that, but it might be that little bit high, whereas it's going to wear your resin out quick. That's what I'm thinking. Tells Window Clean saying he had a hard week last week as well. I was done, yeah. I was completely shot as well, mate. I was working Saturday as well. Yeah, Ted's just asking you, mate, what your TDS level is going in. Oh, you got it here, 75. Yeah, I would say, mate, personally, I know a lot of people say if you're like 100 parts per million, it's classed as hard water, and anything 100 parts per million below is classed as soft. I personally would say if you're below 50 parts per million, I would say you're probably all right just using resin. If you're above that, I would go reverse osmosis and DI as a setup, because it's going to save your resin taking the hit. And I think what it comes down to is not just your TDS, is how much water you use on a daily basis. So I think that's why a lot of people say if it's under 100 parts per million, you can just use DI only. But if you're using a lot of water, I think it's going to save you more money in the long term doing reverse osmosis first. But that's just me. So I just go back to some of the comments here. Matt saying someone there had that problem before. Try shaking the DI vessels. That could be worth a go. Cheers, Matt. Ched saying, yeah, 75 is right on the border of reverse osmosis and DI for costs. At 75 TDS, it will be used up quite quick. Gripper tank have a resin calculator that gives you a rough usage. So I just have a look on here for you. So gripper tank TDS. Hopefully this will come up with. So I just have to refine the search. Right, let's have a look on the screen share for you. This is the screen share. So gripper tank TDS calculator, mate, is what I've just shoved in here straight away. So cost of resin per 25 litre sack. Let's just call that £100 because it normally tends to be that when you add on your VAT and post and packaging. So your TDS, let's say, is 75. I'm guessing you're going to have like an 11 litre vessel. And it's just asking your litres per month. I would have no idea what your usage is, mate. So let's go off mine and then half it. So 5, 10. So if I said 10,000. Right, and then obviously click calculate at the end because I was just thinking the figures hadn't changed. So it's telling you how much cost per litre it is. And it'll cost you £136.36p a month. So that's going to be over a bag of resin. And change your If it was just a single vessel, I take it you got two. It's saying 1.5 weeks basically. So have a go on there, mate, and have a look on here of what your DI resin cost calculator will be. I'm not sure though if this calculator is just purely if you're doing resin only, or I don't know if this is taking into account that you're using RO. I'm guessing it's for both, to be honest, because you've just put down what your TDS is before it goes through. So, for example, my going off my dual TDS meter after reverse osmosis, mine is coming out at 9. So I'll just go back to here. So if I change that to 9, got an 11 litre vessel. However, I'm just saying I'm using 20,000 litres a month. You can see, even though I'm doing, say, double what I said you were, but because I've got reverse osmosis and it's making the TDS levels drop before it goes through the resin really low, it's going to cost me £32.73p a month, it's saying in resin, and to change it roughly nearly every 6 weeks. Hopefully that's some help for you. I'm not sure, mate. It's P-mer, wasn't it? It's probably sounds to me like you're going to need to go reverse osmosis before going through the DI, mate, just purely because of the TDS levels and the amount of water you're using. Just try and go back to some of the comments. Mark saying should be lasting 12 weeks at that TDS reading. Matt's just saying under 100 parts per million, it'll be cheaper than RO. That's a good point, because we talked about it, I think, a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it? And like Matt worked it out for him, because there's no wastewater in the production of pure water when you're just using the resin only or DI only, you're saving money that way. Whereas if you use reverse osmosis and DI, you're producing wastewater, which you get charged for as well. However, what you can do with that wastewater, like me, I've got it going to a separate IBC tank, and then from there in my garden it just runs out and waters my garden, so it's not going down the drain. So you can claim back drainage because you're not putting the wastewater down the drain, and then you can take measurements off that. You have to speak to your water company. They'll have certain meters you're allowed to use, which you can buy and put in. They will come and inspect whenever they want. But you just do your readings and it offsets your water bill. Luckily for me, I'm not on a water meter, so I don't have that problem. I've just got my wastewater going around my garden rather than going into my soakaway, because I'm using like 1,000 litres a day. So I'm actually saying 10,000, like I could probably have halved that to 5. Yeah, I was just thinking, because I'm like 1,000 litres a day almost I'm using. So I just halved it to about 5. 10,000. I meant 1,000 litres, not 10. That's obviously me typing too much. Ted, sorry, is just saying if you log into Gripper Tank, it runs off the numbers. Angus saying I put my bottle in the wrong way around and it was showing 5 instead of 0. So Angus is saying to you, P-mer, that just double check that you've got the arrow for the DI vessel, so it's pointing for the water coming out towards going on the glass, basically, rather than you might have plugged it in the wrong way around, because it was giving him a reading a 5 for doing that. Hopefully that makes sense. P-mer's just saying to everyone, thanks a lot. I only started not so long ago, so I do a few houses here and there. It's been coming out 0 after the vessels, but at the brush it's 5. Oh, right, okay. So you've took the reading as it's come out of the brush. What you might have, mate, is bits of dirt that's got inside your tank as well. So that's going to bump your TDS levels up as well. Take the lid off and have a look in. I've got bits in mine. Luckily, because I've got a gutter vac, I can just hoover it out when it gets really bad. It could be something as simple as that, mate. As long as the windows are dry and okay, you should be all right. Matt's just saying RO will only be cheaper for him if he gets a third van, so he's done all his working out. forgotten what your TDS levels is where you live, Matt. I know it's lowish. Angus saying third, have you got 2 vans already? Now, I think Matt's just got the one, but he's done the workings out that he'd need 3 vans for him to invest in that. Jed's just saying, will it be cheaper for you to use, ever be cheaper for you to use RO? Matt's just saying, Angus D, no, still 1 van, but that's what the calculations, there you go, I've worked out that when I get to van 3, you will need RO because of where you are. Sorry, Ched's just asked me, talking of RO, Rob, did you get a video of changing yours? I did mine last week. No, I have got a video, Ched, I've done before of me. See if I can find it. Where I did do a video of me changing me RO membrane. So I've got stuff all over the place.
Yes, Jimmy, I do. It was, as is my want, rummaging around in my loft the other day.
Don't know if you can hear all this. Can't even stop it. The hell is that? So I've got weird things going on my computer screen at the moment. Right, that's better. Sorry, I'm having to juggle with some weird settings on here. Right, sorry, I was just trying to find that video, wasn't I? I'll try and find it and drop a link to it. You know how efficient you are. Right, I've got the video. Sorry, Ched, I've just dropped a link to a video of me changing a membrane. I think it was done quite a few years ago. I'll just come back to some of the chats and try and catch up. So I'm Matt saying his is 43 parts per million, so it's under that 50 parts per million that I was on about. Hi, Jared, you all right, mate? Thanks for commenting on the videos. Mark's just saying your tap TDS reading is about 80. You wanted an RO system, so he's not changing the resin every 3 months. Yeah, an RO system before your resin is definitely going to make your resin last longer, mate. Chet's just saying, no problem. I looked for one, double check before I did mine. Ah, okay, you didn't see mine. Yeah, probably would need a new title. So I'm just trying to get something up on YouTube as well, so I can see the stream. Ah, here we go. Right, I've got the link I need. Hopefully the link's all right. You've done it now anyway, Ched. You all right, Joshua, mate? Just got a question for everyone. I just bought 100 meters hose reel, and when I tried to walk off with it, the hose connector turns and twists with it. Excuse me. Okay, I think I know what you mean. So is it one of the hose reels that you attach? It's got like 2 wheels with it, and you lift it out your van, you connect it to the port on your van, and then when you pull the hose reel, where you've got the hose coming from your van connecting to the actual hose reel itself, it's that bit that's spinning round rather than staying fixed. I think that's what you mean, mate. And you're just saying it's just so annoying. I'd like to know what to do. I've just seen a question from Angus. I'll come to that in a minute, mate. I'll just try and help Joshua out here. No worries, P. Mays. You're saying thanks for everyone. What everyone said to you, mate, just use it as a sense of direction and just do a bit more research. But hopefully it will like get you somewhere, if that makes sense. So I'm just looking on Xline's website to try and answer this question. Ooh, what am I looking for? Reels. Right. For you, Joshua, I think I might be wrong, could answer your question. All I know is from experience because when I first started, I had 100 meters of hose on a reel that I lift out of the van, and I used to have to plug it into the port of my van. And this bit that you see here, it's not loading up fast. So sorry, this bit is what I used to plug a bit of like hose with a hose lock type garden connector onto on the actual hose reel itself. And this is a 90-degree like angle, but what it does do is as you walk backwards with your hose, like you're saying, sorry, that's come out, that will stay stationary because it swivels rather than it's fixed, so it's spinning around as you unravel your hose, which I think is the problem you're saying you're having. And as you can see, it's £10.80p with VAT, plus you'll have postage and packaging. So it's a 3/4 inch female, British standard, male, 90-degree, and it's the key word there is swivel. So something like that, I think, is what you may need on your hose reel. So hopefully it's something for around about a tenner could fix your problem. But before you do that, it's probably worth speaking to the supplier where you got it from, mate, and just chat to them. Hopefully that's kind of helped. No worries, mate. I'm hoping what I've just said, mate, has answered your question as well. Sorry, Angus was just asking what parts per million does everyone change their DI? For me, what I do is when my water comes out, I can get a read in the TDS levels after the reverse osmosis, which at the moment is 9 because I've got a new membrane fitted. And then I have a reading as it comes out the DI vessel, and it's comes out there. When it hits 4 parts per million, I go onto Xline and I order a bag of resin. But I won't change it until it gets to 6 parts per million. Once it hits that, that's when I do my resin change. That's me personally. But what I will say is it has been, sadly, a couple of times as high as 16. Yeah, I've not had one single complaint when I've been cleaning the windows. It could be down to the time of year, like more that it's winter, so we get more rain on the windows. I don't know. But I like to change it definitely at 6 parts per million, and I order new resin when it gets to 4 parts per million, if that makes sense. Sorry, James, what was he saying there you was waiting for? Angus, you change it at 1 parts per million, do you? Yeah, Neil's just saying that. I know because you're up in Scotland, you got really soft water, haven't you? So Ched's just saying order a couple of swivels as they do wear out and leak after a few months. Okay, Josh, no worries, mate. Hopefully it's been a help. Oh, Angus is just saying you've gone up to 6 parts per million and then you've changed over. Yeah, when I get to 6, mate, it's the only reason why I change it at 6 parts per million is because when I first started, I brought my system from Xline. That's what they told me to do. They just said when you get a reading of 4 parts per million, go online, order your resin, and then change it when you hit 6 parts per million. So that's what I do. And I've never really changed it. Yes, mate. Yeah, sorry. Chad's just saying 9 TDS from RO for 270, 96.7. Oh, it isn't as good as what it should be. Tweak the pressure or the waste flow. Yeah, the only thing I'll have to do, it should be set around 60 to 40% ratio of, I can't remember what way round now, if it's pure to waste or the other way round. I've tweaked it about, I've changed stuff, but that's what I've got it. And I think it's probably down to the water pressure. My water pressure at home is really bad. It's probably around 25 psi coming out the tap, and the booster pump is putting it in. I put a pressure gauge recently on the system, and it's going through the membrane at about 75, and I know ideally it should be 80. So it's probably down to the water pressure, and there's nothing I can now do about that because I've got a booster pump, and I just think me water pressure out of the tap system is just that rubbish. There's nothing more I can do. I'll probably have to give X-Line a ring and see if we've got I don't know if there's such a thing as a stronger booster pump, or seen them do booster pumps with a buffer tank. So it could be a little trick here and there to help it out, mate. I mean, it does drop down, I suppose, the more you use it after it's been running a while, but I'm not normally there that long when I'm checking it because I've got to go. But yeah, it tends to be about 9 at the moment, mate. So Angus is saying, nearly scaring me, thinking I need to change the resin, needs clean. It's just the way you word it is what we thought. 60 waste, 40 pure, sometimes 90%. 90% is the best you can get it. My pressure is 28, boosted to 80. Right, and it gets your 270 TDS down to 1 or 2. Bloody hell. Yeah, mine's at 9. I think the lowest I've ever seen it has been 5. And I'm sure I've got my waste set to 60/40 because I've been playing around with it. There's no dials on there, so I was having to use 2 measuring jugs, and I was measuring what would be going like as production and what would be going out as waste, and I was tweaking it till I got the 60/40%. So Neil's just saying, check every Monday. If it's not 0 ppm, then you change the resin. Oh, okay, so you're really, really strict. I take it because you've got a hell of a lot of because you've got a lot of people working for you. You're going to use a hell of a lot of pure water on a daily basis as well. Because that's one thing I found with your resin, it creeps up, and the higher the number, the faster it creeps up as well. And then obviously, if you're going to be using a lot of water daily, that's going to go up quite fast as well. So Mark's saying you change your pre-filters when your resin starts reading 001. I change my pre-filters every 3 months. It was every 3 to 4, but I'm going to go every 3 months from now on. And hopefully that's going to protect the life of my membrane. There's something in my water, I think, that just kills my pre-filters, which is why I've got a water softener first before it goes through reverse osmosis and DI, as I've mentioned before. So Neil's just saying, yes, mate, check every Monday. Right, if it's not, you change. So I might have seen that one already. Says you're saying you tweak yours to get the lowest TDS out of it, but it's a bit more like 50 pure, 50 waste. I did do that for a bit, but I can't remember why I changed it back to 60/40. I think just more for efficiency. Josh was just saying, I brought the X-Line trolley. It's so good I combined it with 100 meters of hose. What one did you get, mate, Josh? Because there's 2, isn't there? There's a 45-litre trolley, which is what I've got, and then they've got the 25-litre one, so you can put like your 25-litre barrels on it. I think they're both exactly the same, to be honest. Just one holds more water than the other one because it's the same pump, isn't it, and the same flow controller. But yeah, I like the trolley. It just seems a little bit short. That's all. Does Matthew's back in a bit. But I love the X-Line trolley. It was handy. No, James is just saying, yeah, no worries, mate. I've got sausage fingers as well. Josh is saying you bought the X-Line trolley. Okay, yeah, I've said that one. Says me, I'm going mad. I haven't had that much gin. Might just go trad school is BPM bollocks. Joe, I was just saying, if you're changing at 1 parts per million, why not double your DI tanks? Keep the resin that's coming out at 2 or 3 as a pre-filter, then swap over when you need changing them when needed. I get that. Oh, Josh, sorry, you're just saying 45 litre. Yeah, it's really good, mate. I like it. Yeah, I've got it in the van all the time. In fact, I took it out Saturday. I cleared some gutters yesterday, so for me, I have to take the trolley, my spare barrels of water out, so I can put in my generator and gutter vac and all the rest of the system that gets loaded in there with it. And I put it on charge. I normally charge it every Sunday, but I've washed my van today. It's all loaded up, good to go all week. It's there if I need it. When I was working as a 3, that's why I brought the 45 litre trolley in the first place. It just made life easier rather than doing it with me gardener's backpack and filling that up, because it holds double that, literally. But it was a great system, and I love the fact it's got the same pump, the same controller as what's on my tank, so it's the same across the board. It's really good. So Matt's just saying to Angus, what's your water ppm from the tap in Scotland? It's going to be really low. Be interesting to know. Neil saying you bought the Ionics trolley and it holds 75 litres of pure. Might have to buy a winch from the back of the van though. God, yeah, that's really good though. That's a lot of water. I did say to my daughter, what do you prefer of the trolleys? Would you prefer a gardener's backpack on a sack barrow? Because the sack barrow is quite tall and it's easier to push something that's a bit lighter. But she preferred the heavier backpack, the 45 litre trolley, because there was less filling up for her to do when she was working from it. So that's why she liked that one. I like the look of the X-Line one as well, because it just went with my kit and the tank and everything like that. But the Gardeners is really, really handy, like in Paul's video. Sorry, it's got a itchy foot. It's better. The Gardener's backpack is handy though if you're just trying to get through tight spaces or the back of someone's house, like through a garage, that sort of thing. But the 45 litre trolley, I do love it. It is great. It comes in handy as well because you can use that with just the customer's tap water when you're doing like big, large conservatory roof cleans, especially if they're polycarbonate. Comes in handy like that. So I was trying to see where I'm in the comments. 75 litres, that's massive. Yeah, with the X-Line kit goes with the walls. Oh, the orange walls behind me. So I thought it meant it was like for doing render, because I thought using it for render. I brought a chemical pump. I've fitted that into my trolley as well. So it's got a X-Line chemical pump in there. Because I had thought for using it for TFR and stuff like that. And also for using biocide for it, which I've done before. But that was my own roof, by the way. If you combine the trolley with a reel, you don't have to bring it around to the house. Yeah, like you say, you've got 100 metres of hose. I mean, at the end of the day, like Joss is saying, with the 45 litre trolley, it's exactly the same type of pump, with the same flow controller of what's on my tank. So it's capable of doing it. It's not a bad idea, is it? But it's just me and Matthew working now anyway. Sorry, Angus is coming, what everyone wants to know. He's on 21 parts per million for water up in Scotland. So that's half of what yours is, isn't it, Matt, really? That's outstanding. I would absolutely love that. But yeah, going onwards, what has people found this week, really, apart from it being mega hot? I mean, I've been so glad that I've got my cool box. There's some nice comments on some of the videos going in there. So I just seen a comment come in. And that's how it's up. Matt's just saying I've been outdone. And Jed's just saying as well, no water meters in Scotland as well. So bonus. I think everyone's going to move to Scotland, isn't they? I just remember when I served up in Scotland, Greg's sausage rolls were about 20p cheaper than where they were in England. So I was happy up there with 4 kids. That saved me 80p in it. 80p, yeah. Sad. So Angus is just saying shh when I see the comment come up. I think everyone is really. That's got to be the lowest parts per million of anyone in the group, isn't it? That's true. Oh, Gerard, you're in Scotland as well, are you, mate? Wow. How much is a window cleaning license up in Scotland? Because I believe, well, I don't know how much it is, but I just know if you haven't got one and someone comes forward to test to see if you got one and you can't produce it, it's a really heavy fine, isn't it? And I think it's something they brought in to, I suppose, stop people who aren't window cleaners saying they are, sort of thing. Oh, Jay was just saying you're not far from Glasgow. Yeah, my daughter Sophie used to work for me. She lives in Glenrothes now, near Edinburgh. I keep telling you what start window cleaning. Especially, I just said already, I did think of buying a DI vessel, a gardener's backpack and a pole, and say, you can clean your own windows now, and I bet you'll get the neighbours. Oh, so the license is every 3 years, and the last one you paid for was 160 quid. It's not too bad, really, is it? Oh, and Angus saying 150 quid for 3 years. I could be corrected. So it's about 160, 150, about 50 quid a year sort of thing. That's not too bad, but what is the fine if you get caught without having a license? That's the thing. I'm sure that's a couple of grand, is it? Something like that. It's just obviously with Sophie now moving up to Scotland, my wife at some point will probably want to move to Scotland. That means I'm going to have to relocate all the way up there and start window cleaning all again. So it's a bad and a good thing. Good thing is it's a clean slate, and I'd probably go, like I said, if I did it all again, I'd be go-cardless only, up my prices, and then just go for it. But it's a whole new beast, isn't it? It's new area, weather, and you've got to earn a certain amount a month. But it is what it is. We marry these women, don't we? We follow them around the country, and that's that. So Jared's saying you can be taken to court, never been asked to show yours in 20 years. And Angus is saying no one can catch me. Wow, so this license must have been around a long time. I only heard about it about 5 or 6 years ago, to be honest. So I thought it was something new. So I didn't realise it'd been around that long. Neil's just saying we should have the same rules as Scotland. Guess we need an ice cream war before that happens. Yeah, I agree as well. It'd tighten things up, wouldn't it? And like I say, it's not a massive cost at the end of the day. And it's an expense you can claim back. But it's not really going to stop people. It's the fines after, I think, that will stop people, isn't it? Who aren't doing it all the time. But yeah, going back to this week with the heat, it's important that you hydrate with plenty of water. And obviously in my gin, there's tonic water. But yeah, I've got my cool box. I'm really glad to have some nice cold water out of that. Cold water, some neat water is the best drink sometimes. And I try and have a sip before I start a job and a sip when I finish a job. Because otherwise, before you know it, you've gone a couple of hours without having a drink of water at all. And it's not fun when you start to get a slight headache. I've got my glasses, which are tinted, so like sunglasses. Wear them. Sorry, just saying too fast, Angus. And yeah, that's my little tips for the hot weather. But like I said, you do slow down a bit because you start to get a bit hot and bothered when it's this crazy heat that we're not used to anyway. So I'll just go back to a comment. Jared's just saying it came in the 80s. Really? Wow. In Scotland, I can clean someone's carpets with a license, gutters and patio, but I need a license to clean their windows. Oh, you don't need a... Right, you don't need a license, sorry, for them, but you do with the windows. Yeah, they should make it across the board, shouldn't I? So I may have kind of worked that one out. But yeah, that does seem bonkers. Is that because there's more window cleaners about, though, than there is carpet cleaners, that sort of thing? Mark's is saying Plymouth may need a few more window cleaners. Matt said it's shorter than where he lives. That's why he's busy. But yeah, and I found with you get a lot of the customers out in the gardens, don't you, working, and they chat to you, and it's... I mean, I had one customer, it's quite funny. He's sort of just saying how he saw me one day, he was gone 6 reversing into someone's drive, and said, yeah, I've worked a couple of times till 6:30, and I just said it's the heat slows you down. And I said, unfortunately, a lot of customers chat a bit, and when you got a few chatters, it holds me back. And then he's one of the chatters. But I don't mind. Like I say, some people need it, some don't. It's just nice. If you don't talk to people, you don't find out about people, do you? And it's one of the good things about being a window cleaner is you're not just networking like we are here with other window cleaners. You're networking with your customers, aren't you? And they pass you on good recommendations, and some of them have got skill sets that will come in handy for you later down the line for yourself. So it all works out good in the end. Matt saying, don't tell anyone. With a TDS so load, we should all move to Plymouth. Matt, everyone's going to rush to you, mate. Yeah, it is hilly in your videos, Matt. I can see that. I'm Matteo81. I had a woman sunbathing and she said, don't mind me. I'll leave the rest to your imagination. Everyone's minds are going to be racing now. It's weird, though, isn't it? Because some people would find that quite awkward if they were sunbathing and you turned up. Because I know I've got some customers, when you're cleaning the windows, they feel like they've got to get cleaning because they don't like the fact you're working and they're not, if that makes sense. Get a few like that, and I keep telling them not to worry about it. I was just saying, you're a lucky man, Matt. I thought he was trying to say Matteo's a lucky man. But yeah, was she a chatter though, Matteo? Was she? Angus saying, certainly where I am, I reckon there's about 10, 20 window cleaners for about 110,000 houses. Wow. And never cleaned the windows so many times. Yeah, I bet there's a few stubborn bird poos on that particular window, eh? That's a good time to be wearing sunglasses, I guess. But yeah, you get your chatters. And that's basically, but this week has been really hard. It's been constant, isn't it? Every day, really, really hard. And it's not just working through it. It's when you get home, because you're getting stuff done, the admin, everything's boiling, the house upstairs hot, and you can't sleep well neither. And then you're up early and you're at it again. And I was working this Saturday. It's 32 degrees where I was. And I was working all the way up till 3:30. I was beaten. And I picked my son up because I dropped him off where I was working in it. It's near King's Lynn. It's a bit out of the way. And then I come home. I was whacked. And then today, like, I've turned my van round, done my pole. I've brushed sand into the block paving that I pressure washed a couple of days ago. So I got that done. Luckily, it's that windy. I don't need to go out and buy a leaf blower. So that's done me a favour. And then I've washed the family car as well. So it's been a mental day today. So that's my day off. And now another week of window cleaning. But we might not be working tomorrow because, like Ched was saying, we've got the high winds. So I'm just trying to catch up on some of the comments here where I've got lost. Matteo, Matt, as you've probably seen, Matt's just asking, what was your PPM? What was your dribble? Angus saying a lot of folk up here just do them themselves. I'll clean their own windows, do they? I suppose because the tap water's that soft, they can just use tap water. Sorry about that just killed me. Yeah, no, it's over 60, didn't say much. So not really my cup of tea unless you're Wayne Rooney. Turn the brush on yourself to cool you down. Yeah, I have run it over my head and down the back of my neck a few times. It was a tough week. I just thought, please don't be another hot week. So I'm glad the weather's dipped a bit. And yeah, on the last job on Saturday, I was doing, because I'd done a gutter clear, I was doing fascia softeners and gutters and cleaning some cladding as well as the windows. But I looked straight up and the sun was straight in my eyes. Even with my sunglasses, I thought, oh, great, this is all I need. And it's one of them houses as well with like 1,000 pots around the garden as well to navigate round. But we got it done, made someone happy anyway. So I was glad to see the back of it. It took longer than what I thought. And it was the last one of the day. And also my gutter vac that I was using when me and Matthew were working, that overheated. But what we've worked out is, because I said to Matthew, maybe it's not the gutter vac because it happened just one day before. But luckily when I got home, we thought it'd cool down. What it wasn't, it was the reel actually. I just had to press the reset button on the reel and everything worked. So it's the reel where it detects that it's going to overheat, so it cuts out. So if you think about it, you got the heat through the reel from using the gutter vac because it is 3 engines, 3,600 watts, plus the heat of the weather, and it's a black cable, isn't it? But luckily I reset the button and we managed to finish the job. So that's what I've learned when we got a vac. If it cuts out, it's not necessarily the vac, it's probably the extension lead. And Matty, as you're saying, the forecast, is in the southwest this week, is a lot cooler with showers. So it should be a more comfortable week. Yeah, it's what it should be for me this week as well, mate. But it looks like from what Ched's saying, it's going to be high winds as well. James is just saying, I've made a mental note of the customers who didn't offer me a drink last week. That's got Agnes laughing, yeah. Luckily, that's one thing I've been getting. Everyone always asks, you all right for a drink? Would you like some water? And they're really surprised when I say, no, I'm all right, thanks. Because I take heart tablets and there's a water tablet I need. So in the morning, if I have a drink of water, it'll be going straight through me. And then in the afternoon, normally in the Vars, I've popped back because I have to refill up my van. And me and Matthew have either had a cup of tea or we've had a few drinks of water before we left the house. So we're normally all right. But it's really nice to be asked, isn't it? Matt's just asking to you, Matteo, where are you based? Are you in Bristol? Bristol and Plymouth, that's interesting. Ched's just saying the window washer, give them a price increase for not giving you a drink. I've cleaned one house and he's a brilliant smashing customer, and he come out one day and said, do you want a beer? So I just smiled and went, yes, please. It was a hot day. It wasn't a can, it was like a bottle of beer, Corona as well. It wasn't during the coronavirus, but that was a lovely cold beer and that was so nice. And I had to laugh. It was near the end of the day as well. And that was just like, wow. And I think he could see it in my face. He knew I needed that. But I think this weather and it's going from one extreme to another. As long as I can work, I don't really mind what the weather's doing. So it can be too hot or cold. It's when I can't work. I absolutely hate it. Mark is just saying, is it true that people in Bristol drink a lot of wine? So, Matteo, is that true? I had a bottle of wine last week. And I was just saying to me, mate, I couldn't believe it. I bought a bottle of wine. I was shocked at the price, £8.30. So it shows you how long ago I bought a bottle of wine. And I had 2 glasses one night and said, that's me done. And the next evening, I finished a bottle off. So it took me 2 nights to finish a bottle of wine. And I thought, Jesus, like 30 years ago, I used to drink 3 bottles of wine and then go out. Just couldn't believe that. So I Nelly's just laughing. So Smattio, you don't drink, but I'm sure in Clifton they do. Do you drink at all, do you, Matteo? Or are you completely like teetotal? Because one of my friends, he's from Bristol. When I was cleaning in King's Lynn, which is a bit of a distance to me, my mate from the regiment days, he lives there. And there's a guy a couple doors down, elderly guy, asked me to do this job. So I said I will because you're near where. So when I see my mate, I can do him. And I clean my mate's windows once a month as a way of a catch up. It's from Bristol. And he could drink absolutely tons of cider. But now he's really cut back. He's having a couple of bottles of cider because he almost went down the route of being a diabetic, but he's reversed it so he doesn't need medication and that. So it's lifestyle changes. But oh God, he used to drink tons. And when I used to go down to Bristol, Southmead is where he's from. And I used to stay the weekend with him, and his mum and dad put us up. Really brilliant. I loved it. And you could just pay for like a day pass on the bus, and we'd be out all day on the beer, going backwards and forwards. And Bristol rugby was absolutely brilliant to watch. That was a cracking day on the piss. So, excuse me. So I loved that. We were drinking Blackthorn with a dash of blackcurrant in there. Absolutely lovely. Matthew's saying, stop drinking years ago. You got 3 girls, and nursing hangovers isn't the same when you got a family. Mate, I'm with you on that one. Got 4 kids, 2 girls, 2 boys. But they're all like 18 plus now. But yeah, I remember when I was in the mob, people were going out, come out for a beer, and I'd have a couple, but I'd say to them, that's it, I'm going home. And they'd be shocked because obviously I used to be a bit of an animal back in the day. And I said the same thing, like, it's all right for you, but you haven't got to get up with screaming loud kids shouting while my wife's gone to work. And Saturday morning, standing there with a hangover with a load of kids shouting and screaming is not worth it. It's not fun. So I'm totally with you on that one, mate. Totally with you. Yeah, that's it, mate. Cider and Blackthorn. That's what Lee used to do. No strong beer. It had to be Blackthorn. Gerald saying as well, you're teetotal. Have been since you was 19. Your wife has had every bottle of wine I've been given by the customers over the years around Christmas time. Oh, your kids are 7, 12 and 15 now. Yeah, it's not worth it. I mean, even now the kids are older, I still don't want a hangover. That's what I said to someone. You could have a big night out. It's just not worth the hangover because it'll last me, a hangover now will probably last me 3 days. So no, I don't drink much. In fact, if the missus gets me out for a beer, I think they laugh because I have about 2 or 3 beers fairly quick, but then we go home, but I'm already slurring. So, if I had another one, I'd be in a bad way probably. Yeah, Blackthorn. Yeah. Not Strongbow. Lee was always big. It had to be Blackthorn. As we said, with a bit of blackcurrant. He told me it's how they drunk it around there. Sorry, Angus saying, I'm so glad I'm not married and have no kids. Live with my parents and don't drink. Maybe I don't have a life. Mate, nah. My dad always used to say to me when we were on about, because we'd always have a few beers together and that. He's just saying if he didn't drink, his money would go on cars or bikes. So everyone has a vice, don't they? So if you're not spending it somewhere, you'll be spending it somewhere else instead. My dad was a big drinker. He doesn't go out drinking at all now. He does have some whiskey, but he just stays at home, listens to music. You know what I mean? Just keeps himself to himself. When you go out now, everything is so expensive. It's too expensive to go out, isn't it? For drinking that now. It just costs you way too much. Hi, Nathan. You all right? No worries, mate. You're just saying you agree about hangovers now. So much harder that you have a 3-year-old. Yeah, it's not funny. It is not funny. Especially when you feel like you could sleep a day, but they're up like at the crack of dawn, aren't they? And all over. It's just not worth it. I mean, how I used to operate before, I don't know. I'd be hungover and still do a 10-mile run, no problem. And in fact, the end of the 10-mile run, you'd just be like, I'm now feel great. I'm ready for a beer. But yeah, when you got wife and kids and everything, it's just, no, thanks. I couldn't do it. I could not do it. James is saying, a friend of yours lost 4 stone by cutting back on midweek boozing at home. That's crazy, isn't it, to think that? Wow. And think of the money you're saving as well. Pint of Stella was £1.75. Can't beat a few pints of wife beater. Yeah, I remember I used to drink John Smith Smooth, £1.67p a pint. And now everything's like nearly £5, isn't it? It just seems crazy. I mean, my dad said years ago that people used to say to him, when it gets to £5 a pint, I'll quit drinking. And he said, and that's exactly what they did as well. And they were solid drinkers for ages. Oh, no. Chez is saying you can remember pints being a quid and bottles 80p. Imagine, right, this week for everyone, have a chat with your customers and try and asking them about how much was the price of beer when they used to go out drinking. Some of them, I guarantee, would tell you they could go out with £1, have a few pints, a bag of chips, and still have change. Because I've got a few customers that have told me that as well. And they're the same. They don't drink now. They said they just can't be asked with the hangovers. They have a few bottles of beer, and that's their max. And it's normally a few times a year as well, and that's it. So it might be a common thing as we get older. Matteo saying you're better off having no friends, going out, cheap and night out. I don't know. I wouldn't have changed my days when I was younger because, like I say, I was in the mob and we'd be going out. There'd be loads of us in rounds. I mean, mate Lee that I was talking about, believe it or not, he would start his way from one end of the bar to the other, trying different pints in between us going rounds. He'd be drinking that fast. It's unreal. Unbelievable. But we'd have some cracking nights out together. So I'm glad I'd done it all. But I didn't have wife and kids then, so I had money to go on nothing else. So it was no problem. It's like a pop star. But definitely when you get kids and that, your money's tied up, isn't it? And yeah, hangover with a load of kids is definitely no joke. That is torture at its best. Marcus just says you rarely drink now. Lifelong fitness fanatic, helps with the job. Coffee connoisseur though. Well, caffeine's good, and it gets your heart going and stuff like that for your gym stuff. So what do you do, mate, Marcus? Do you mainly like gym or do you cardio or a bit of everything? Nathan's saying 2 pints of lager and a packet of crisps. Cracking program. Yeah, I remember that. I used to like watching that as well. Coffee's about £4. Yeah, the nice coffees. Back in the day when you could eat salted peanuts off the bar. Yeah. Oh, sorry, wrong one. Sorry about that. Woo. My dad's in the old days where we used to go the pub. I used to work in a local pub as well before I joined up. But when they did Sunday dinners, they'd put all the spare roast potatoes out on the bar as well. So I used to have a load of them with the jugs of gravy. Dad used to laugh because I used to drink the whole gravy as well. That used to be great. Yeah, that was a great show. Oh, how's the health? Yeah, no, I'm good, mate. I don't know if you'll know. I'll quickly talk about it, but you know when COVID hit off, obviously I think that's 2020. I think it's about a year later I actually caught COVID because 2 of my kids caught it from school, brought it home. We all got it except for me older 2 kids, Matthew and Sophie. They didn't, but me and Teresa did. I was double jabbed by that point as well, and I wouldn't say I had it bad. So I thought it was quite lucky, really. But I think it was probably 4-6 months later I started to get, my stomach just wasn't right and was feeling painful, and a few things weren't going right when I went to the toilet, put it that way. So I just put it down to a dodgy Chinese we had on like my wedding anniversary. So I was going to the doctors, they're treating me for that sort of stuff. But things went south really quick. And then to try and cut a long story short, basically COVID caused my heart to enlarge. So it's meant to be the size of your fist. It was the size of my fist and a half. which meant my valves weren't meeting, so they weren't closing properly. I think every week I've seen the doctor saying, "Oh, you got a slight murmur, you got a big murmur, you got a severe murmur." Then I went to see a cardiologist. That was a 6-week wait on the urgent waiting list. I didn't think I was going to make it, to be honest, the way I was feeling. This is where I was lucky with my wife and kids because they were going out in the van for 2 weeks. The last 2 weeks until I saw the cardiologist, I was bedridden. I couldn't get up. All up to that point, I just carried on working because you don't get paid here. So I just cracked on. And anyway, cardiologists did their thing, speaking around, got some tablets for me, bounced me around all the different departments because they said this is supposed to be a chat, but you're bad. And then I got the tablets, which I'm taking now, and literally within a week, I lost 2 stone in weight because that was just fluid. But within 3 days of taking them, I just felt that good. I said to my wife, I'm going to try and see if I can work. And I did a full day's work, no problem. So since then, as long as I take the tablets, I'm all right. But obviously put the beef back on because obviously I was eating like a horse. So other than that, I'd say I'm lucky because my heart problem is just down to taking a tablet. So no surgery. But yeah, that's basically what it was. So whether it was COVID, the jabs, nobody knows, or I could have had an underlying health issue in the first place and COVID basically picked it up. But from speaking to customers and what's on the internet and that, but mainly it seems like females had problems with their lungs who'd caught COVID and males had problems with their heart. So look into it what you want. So I'm not going to have another COVID jab at all. And we're lucky in our job because you're outside, you know what I mean? So fresh air and outside, that's good. So yeah, that's where I am, Mark. I'm all right. I'm all good, mate. Oh, his health, not mine. That's all. I just seen that. Neil's just saying you broke up drinking in the Sam Smith's pub, less than pound a pint, rocket fuel. We used to call it thunderclap. Me and the lads, thunderclap, because it made you fart so much. The old John Smiths. Sorry, mate. Yeah, I've just seen that. I meant you drink. You had every drink in the pub. No, Lee. Honestly, he's older than me. I think it's just age catches you up, doesn't it? So he's had some scares with the old cancer, but he's beaten that. And then he had this diabetes thing. So he's just changed his lifestyle. He's cut back on the cider because that's obviously must be high in sugars. He's been drinking wine, funny enough, instead. And he just has the odd bottle of cider here and there to enjoy. Other than that, he's really, really good, mate. Sorry, Matt is just saying about what I said. Worrying stuff that puts life into perspective. I've got IBD. What's IBD? I was thinking irritable. I was thinking IBS. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know what IBD is, mate. You'll have to elaborate on that. But yeah, it got me thinking a bit after that, and then realizing what something because I've got elderly customers. You speak to them, and you know what they're going through. And we've got it coming, but they're all warriors, aren't they? And just keep going. That's all you can do, isn't it? I really, really hated the idea when I was ill and laying in bed that I was going to have to give up window cleaning. That's when I realised how much I absolutely really love it. And I just thought, I can't do a desk job. So luckily, I'm fortunate. It's just take a tablet and I've been all right since. Navy's saying, question, is anyone peeping for winter? How do you stop the freezing tanks and hoses? Ah, okay, Nathan. Sorry, I wondered what you meant then. I've got a video actually I did on that. There's some things I do. An oil radiator heater is what I leave in the van overnight when it's really bad weather. And it's got a thermostat on there. So I try and have it the lowest setting possible. So it's at the lowest setting, but it stops things from freezing in my van. I've got I can't remember the make of it. I think I put it on a video. A little thermostat thing you can buy like off Amazon. And it's wire Bluetooth. However, in my house, in my bedroom, it doesn't reach through the thick walls. But if I'm like my son's room, you could. However, it does track all the temperature readings in there. So even though I can't check on my phone, for example, I could sit in the van and then it'll link up and I can check on there and see all the readings through the night. So that's how I adjust the thermostat to get it to where it stops freezing, basically. So it's the cheapest way of running it. And I think an oil radiator is safer than other radiators, for example. So that's what I do. I normally have a rule, mate. If it's -4, you shouldn't be out driving anyway, because the chances are you could crash your van. And if your van's off the road, that's it, isn't it? So if it's too cold, it don't work. But then again, there's days, isn't it, when it's been -4 and there's not that much ice on the ground. And there's been other days where it's like -2 and there's tons of ice on the ground. So it's probably depends on the wind chill and all that. But if I have problems with the water freezing on the glass or freezing on my hoses, is because the hoses are touching the cold ground, they're going to freeze. It's not worth doing it. That's where I'd love a hot water system. But that's what I do. And if I have my hoses frozen up, I put them in like a warm bucket to thaw out. I've got that going. Or I know some people will not work till, say, about 10, 11 o'clock in the morning and do a few hours to try and limp through. So you're kind of like doing half a day's work, half a day the next day. Get through the week that way rather than a whole week of not working. So it's just different ways, mate. You'll learn to manage it, but it is a tough one. It depends. Like I can park my van close to my house, so it's a bit sheltered from the wind with the direction from it. But some people can't. Like Matt is like that. It's out on the road, but he uses hot water bottles and a duvet around the tank. He finds that good help as well. So there's lots of different things out there, mate. Other people probably put their stuff in here. Mark is saying, you do martial arts, weights in the gym and cardio. As long as I've been cleaning windows nearly 40 years. Wow. So it's a bit of an all-round fizz, that, isn't it? And obviously it's going to help you cleaning the windows as well. And you must have been doing trad at some point with that as well, running up and down the ladders and carrying them. So definitely, yeah. Keeping fit is really good. I found that as a bit like being a soldier. When being physically fit helps you be mentally fit, if that makes sense. That's what I was saying to my mate Lee when we used to do all this stuff. Couldn't do all that stuff now. We've all got like knackered knees and that. Overdoing it, I suppose. But there's people far worse off. But yeah, definitely doing some form of physical exercise is good for your mentally as well, I think. James saying no one can afford to drink these days because the window cleaners keep putting their prices up. Yeah, unless you're me. Yeah, no, it's fine now, Mark, mate. As long as I take the tablets. Oh, okay. So IBD is like Crohn's. Yeah, I've got a family member who's got Crohn's disease. And it does have a big impact, doesn't it? It's hard to manage. So all credit to you to be handling that and still going out doing what you do. You know what I mean? Do you find any of your customers have got the same thing, Matteo? Because it's quite nice when you bump into a customer, you've got something similar, isn't it? And you can chat away with each other. It's just nice to know someone else is going through something else or understands, really. Chad is saying to Nathan, insulate the inside of the van with foil bubble wrap and then an oil-filled radiator. Oh, prepping. Mark's saying you're looking forward to work tomorrow so you can use your new split relay. You've had the same problem that Matt had with his old one from the same business, which I won't mention. But yeah, hopefully you're going to get the same result as well there, Mark. I'm pretty sure you will. Mark's, yeah, hot water bottles inside a thermal duvet or an oil-filled radiator. Gerald's saying I've been out in -10 here in the past. Antifreeze in a trad bucket, but it's not fun. That cold. No, it isn't. It's like I said, isn't it? It depends what's in the bank. That's the thing. That is the driver that pushes you out the door, really. If you really got to do it, you're going to go out and do it, aren't you? If you don't have to, it's nice to be able to think, I can afford to lose a couple of days and no customer in the world would expect you in really bad weather anyway. The one thing I'm bad for in cold weather is I worry about cleaning the front door with water-fed pole when you've got the water on the doorstep. And if it freezes over, someone's going to slip. So anyone elderly or with young kids sometimes might think about leaving the front door or doing it by hand anyway to kind of avoid that. Same with the back doors. Sorry, that was it for comments. But yeah, -10. That's some determination there, mate. Whew. I think I've watched Pete, the Tradman, isn't it, where he was using antifreeze and going out up in Scotland cleaning windows in really some bad conditions there. But it just kind of proves as well what can be done when it has to be. Seems weird though, isn't it? We're talking about winter and we've had a week like we've just had. Marcus just saying last winter the guys I know with hot water systems went home at 10 a.m. on the really cold days because the water was freezing on the ground around the properties and customers are going mental. So kind of like, I suppose, undermines the whole point of having a hot water system when your customers are saying no because it's freezing on the floor. It is something I think about because I wouldn't like one of my customers to later find out they're in hospital because they'd slipped on some, sorry, there's a fly bugging me there, slipped on some water that had frozen over. I wouldn't feel very good about that at all. Incidentally, I think it was Friday, I was cleaning a place on my round in Leverington called Glendon Gardens. There's a lot of elderly people there. So I think I had 5 houses in there to clean that day. And while I was cleaning this particular lady's house, I heard a loud bang, which made me question it, but I just kind of passed it off as in it must be a tradesman somewhere's dropped something and it's just gone bang really loud. But then the person I was cleaning, the lady come out and just said, can I check her fuses for her? So I had a look and I said, everything's pointing the same way, so I don't think anything's tripped. So I turned off and reset and all that. And then she said, no, it might be the whole street. So I just said, is there any of your neighbours in? I'll knock and ask. So I did that. And funny, I got asked, can I quote their windows? But it turns out they've had a power cut as well. So it's a power cut with everyone. So I explained to her. I did tell her because I said, mother-in-law's class is vulnerable, lives with us. And I just know that in a power cut, they have to get the power on within a certain time frame. So I said, if you give them a ring, they're really good. And they'll give you a continue update as well of when to expect the electricity on, which is what she did. And they did get the electric back. But like she's saying, she wasn't having a good day. She's suffering. And then it was the heat as well. And then no power. So, yeah, it's not nice. I did think, shall I run to a shop and buy one of them hand fans and drop it off? But I found out that the next house I went to clean, the electricity had come back on. So all was good. Neil's just saying, funny we don't talk about the summer and the winter months. No. But we all dream of it, I guess. It just seems funny, doesn't it? In the winter, summer seems so many long ago. It seems ages to come round. And then when summer comes here, like this week, you're like, I wish it would just cool down. It's not fun. It's really hard. The weather, though, just shows you all trades really, aren't they, on the weather? Because I think about this a lot. When you've got tradesmen who are working, even if they're indoors, they've still got to walk outside to get something from the van and back inside. And if it's all wet, they've got to go through that palaver of like putting down sheets, taking shoes on and off. So it makes what they're doing harder, basically, of getting in and out of the house, backwards and forwards to the van. So, yeah, it affects everyone, doesn't it? Yeah, Matthew was telling me this yesterday. It was the longest day yesterday. So it's going to start getting darker in the evenings. It'll seem slow at first and then suddenly speed up. It wasn't that long ago. We were saying it was the shortest day of the year. Now already the longest day's been passed. Makes you wonder what winter's going to be like if you're having a really good summer sometimes. But yeah, we are dependent on the old weather, really. It's one extreme to the other, isn't it? No warning. But it looks like now I'm going to have to keep one eye on the weather tonight, have another look in the morning, and then make that decision, do I go out or not, to work and play it by ear. So Neil's just saying, thanks, Chad, or Jed. But it's true, though, isn't it? It felt like the longest day yesterday. I can tell you that with the heat. God, I was absolutely cream crackered when I got home. But like we say, all the vans turn around. We're ready to go. Marcus is saying it should start noticing about the end of August with the light hours. Yeah, you probably, like you say, notice it before start looking on your watch to realise it's changing. Gerald's saying it definitely affects the cash flow when the weather turns over the winter. We tend to break even right over the Christmas, so you have to plan for it. Yeah, it's like Christmas in January, isn't it? Tends to be like the worst ones. Jed's just saying you're welcome. Yeah, that's a good point. Does anyone else find they break even round like Christmas time? Because you're taking time off as well that month for Christmas, aren't you? And I find I get a few more skips during Christmas. And I find with the gutters, like late autumn, because the trees seem to shed their leaves later than normal. I think, but it gets that close to Christmas, people then put off having their gutters cleaned because Christmas is coming, and that's why I find in the spring I'm busy because everything starts growing out of them really quick. So autumn and spring are bad for being busy with the gutters for me and trying to juggle the window clean. That's why I'm just going to do gutters on Saturdays now, and just say that's the way it is for them months. Yeah, you get a January. Sorry, wrong one. Tax bill as well on top of all that. Yeah, start pushing the gutter cleaning a lot to fill in. Hopefully, with autumn being delayed, that will kind of encroach towards October, November, December time as well. It's not too bad, isn't it, when you know you've got a fallback in the bank? It's when it's not there and you've had to pay out for getting your van fixed or something like that, and then you know next month's not going to be the best month as well. But the upside is, you know, when it's a good month, the work is always going to be there. It's trying to keep plenty of cash in the business, isn't it? Which is what I'm trying to do. Try and pay off some of these debts and make the operational running costs smaller as well. Which I think is what you're seeing a lot of businesses do this year, like they're moving premises to somewhere else because it's cheaper, that sort of thing. So Mark's saying, why can't Christmas be always over the weekend instead of the middle of the week? I haven't decided on the second van, Ched. My missus is probably the one that stopped me from doing it. I've been asking her for 2 years so far, saying, I think we need a second van. And I was saying if it'd make life easier and if we was to push it, it'd make everyone better off in their pocket as well. And if any of the other kids wanted to jump on, you got room to grow it. Whereas I said at the moment, you can't. We've probably got it the best we can get it. I think with my wife wanting to move up to Scotland, she doesn't want me to get a van. So if I did, I'd have to do it without borrowing money, if that makes sense. So yeah, it's kind of on hold there. Fortunately, I'm going to lose that battle, I think. Marcus is just saying last winter was horrible. In and out of the house at 11 p.m. with multiple hot water bottles. Drag an extension lead up the path, dragging a duvet to the van, all to try and stop the water from freezing. Yeah, I don't think all your customers know the lengths you go to clean a window, do they? Everyone just thinks we wag a pole with a brush on the end, but there's a hell of a lot more to it. What was that? Than just that. And this is the thing people don't see, isn't it? And you're worried that the damage it's going to cause and cost you to replace stuff that's bust. So that's why you go to all them lengths. Employee's dream come true. That would be. Yeah, so still thinking about the second van. Oh. No, don't worry, Ted. It's just my missus. She's on about I think she would like to move to Scotland because her sister's up there and Sophie's moved up there and she's going to have family at some point. So she's going to want to move that way. And I think if I was to borrow money to set up a second van, it's going to get in the way of moving up there, being self-employed and all that. So I think she's trying to put me off. She's put me off for 2 years. But maybe I could get that as a sweetener for the move. Who knows if it comes off. Joe's saying never borrow, always buy outright. Yeah, it's what I'd ideally love to do. 500 a month can set you aside and buy you a new van every 4 years with warranty, no debt. If you save it, yeah. That's true. I mean, that's ideally what I'd like to do, save the money and just buy it outright because it's done and it's one less thing. I mean, I've paid off my business loan when I originally started. So I brought a van, 500 litre tank, had it set up with 2 reels. So it's a 2-man system. The only reason why I did that was if one reel or something went down, I could swap to the other one and then try and figure out how to fix it when I get home. I didn't think I'd have my son working with me or my wife. So, yeah, and it took me, I've managed it, got that paid off in 5 years. But I've got another loan going because I bought the electric reels, a generator and gutter vacuum system. So I used the loan and paid that off. I've got another year on that and then that's gone and I'll be a lot better off a month as well. And I'd love to stay that way, to be honest. Wrong one. Button, that is. Because of the water, Nelly. Yeah, when I was based up that way, Sophie loved living in Scotland as well. So that's why she wanted to go back up there. But just got to roll with it and see what happens. She might move before we do. Clear your debts before anything else, and then you can look at another van or hot water system. Yeah, that's my aim, Marcus, is start knocking down some of these debts, especially the way life's going and everything's going up and money-wise being squeezed out of everyone. Gives you more room. So streamline everything, basically. It's what all businesses tend to be doing as well. Matt's just asking, how's everyone finding inquiries at the moment? Yours have slowed right down. Only have regular window cleaning booked for next month with plenty of days spare, which is unusual for you. You might find, Matt, it's because with your system that you work in, you're not getting the inquiries coming in for the fascia, soffits and gutters because it tends to happen around springtime. So you might find that sort of service is dying off. It's not that no one wants them, if that makes sense, or is not asking you. I mean, I still get asked cleaning windows. I've got some quotes to catch up on and fit jobs in for fascia, soffits and gutters, but these are regular customers that have asked me. It's just I've got to fit them in on a Saturday. So it can take a while to get around to them, really. But they don't care. They just know I'm going to do it. So I'm lucky in that regard. And it's just a steady, slow stream of inquiries, really, for me, which is handy because I'm full anyway. It's driving my wife mad because I'm having to say, squeeze them in because it's a friend of a customer sort of thing, or a mum. But yeah, does anyone else find they got what Matt's saying? Ted's saying inquiries okay, especially as I haven't been doing any leafleting, mainly recommendations from existing customers. Got gutters, soffits and fascias quote tomorrow and a big pressure wash job next week. That'd be kind of handy, the pressure washing job, wouldn't it, next week if the weather's rubbish as well? Because you can still get them done. It's funny how things can work out sometimes, isn't it? But yeah, like I say, I got asked to do I've done a window quote, but they've also asked me to clean the fascia, soffits and gutters. But I tend to think to myself, when I send them it, I don't think it's going to be what they're expected to pay, but I could be surprised. It was handy because there's a little cul-de-sac of 5 bungalows, and I'd have all 5 if she accepts everything. She has the window cleaning anyway. Neil's just saying the new inquiries have dropped off a little. You pushed an email shot deal last month to keep us busy. try and keep things ticking over a bit. So yeah, I reckon Matt's just dropped off, mate. I just think you find it's the hot weather. Maybe it's due with the weather that's coming. And then when the sun comes out again, it'll kick off a bit. Who knows? It's when my missus, she's up in Scotland with Sophie at the moment. She'll be coming back Tuesday. So I'm sure she'll be booking in a few jobs and that for us. So Matt's just saying, I know when it comes to it, something will come in, but I don't like looking at the gaps in the schedule. Yeah, I know what you mean, mate. At least you know you've got the good window cleaning stuff booked in, though. Mark's just saying, Cheddar, you're putting it up on YouTube so we can see how you do it, buddy. Is that the pressure washing, is it, Mark? James just asking, would Matthew want to move or could you leave him? Excuse me. Where you are now to continue working and keep. Yeah, no, Matthew's got a good mate down this way because I have said, would you perhaps move in together and share rent in a flat or something? But I think Matthew would come with us. And then that means I've got to try and do the window cleaning for him and me. But I've said I'd have to start again, and it's hard to give someone a wage. I think the wife would like us to be downsized a lot as well, so become mortgage free. So I think if we were mortgage free, then me and Matthew would still work together, I think, and just build it up. Start again, but it means I'll just go back to how when I was started. If I'm not working, I'm going to be out in the van dropping leaflets, knocking on doors, and just getting out there, really. So yeah, it's all up in the air. If that happens, it might not. Oh, so when you continue working and keep some income coming in while you transition, yeah. Now I think we'd all be going as a big family. I don't know. To be honest, I just concentrate on tomorrow. But yeah, cross that bridge when it comes to it. Us blokes lose out, don't we? Chaz is saying I would get way too many people telling me I'm doing it wrong. 100 square meters of block paving. Wow. That's true, Matt. I could try and sell me around, but Mark's saying as well, and buy another one in Scotland. The thing is with buying around, it's what I was trying to explain to my daughter, Sophie, when she says it. So it's a bit hard because you'd have to invite a guy to come round with me, really, so you can see all the customers rather than going off a list. Because when you see people saying they've been caught out in the past with fake customers, so he's going to want to come out really and meet the customers so I can introduce them so he can gauge if any of them are going to leave. He can see what the pricing's like, so he can see what he's buying. So that's going to take 8 weeks, isn't it? Plus, depending on the weather. So it's going to take at least a couple of months, I think, for some to look into it before they then turn around and decide how much they're willing to. And that's a lot to do if you're on a timeline. It's a possibility, and I've never sold a round before anyway. But I think it's going to be a harder process than what people think. I know if I was going to buy something, I'd want to go around and see it all. But then how do you do that when you're also window cleaning yourself? It's got to be complicated, isn't it, really? Sofa experts, yeah, you're right there, Matt. But yeah, there's loads of ways. I think when you come across a problem, you just think about it, weigh things up, make a decision, just do it. Sorry, Ched's just saying to Matt, very true. It's so easy to see stuff that you do differently when you're sitting at home and you have time to think. Tell you what I do find good about YouTube videos is though, sometimes you're watching, say, for something Pacific, but there's something they're doing in the background that catches your eye or confirms how you thought other people do stuff. So sometimes you learn so much from a video, not necessarily what you're going to expect. So it's a good thing about watching lots of different people work on YouTube, really. just seeing the different ways something could be done and why people do this or do that. Or you find out it's their setup is why they're doing a specific way, and it kind of makes sense. But yeah, you do get a lot of people trolling on there, don't you, unfortunately? I can still hear the wind outside. At least it's going to be cool enough to sleep tonight, hopefully. Yeah, it's just saying little bits you pick up will confirm what you're doing. Yeah, and it's not necessarily like I used to watch a lot of Luke, the window cleaner, his videos when I was trying to learn how to trad and for window cleaning. And I really liked watching his videos. And that's what he said on all his videos. He just said, follow along. Sometimes you might see me doing in one video something, but about 4 or 5 videos later, you'll be watching me for something else, but see me doing something different that I'd failed to talk about in the video that he was watching before, but it all kind of relates and makes sense. And that's totally 100% true. So yeah, it's good to watch other people. But unfortunately, there's a lot of people in there just like to try and shoot you down and stuff like that. But we all learn our own way. Mark saying you always expect trolls in the comments on your uploads. Yeah, I haven't watched your latest video. I've seen it go up, but I'm going to watch it, mate. So keep them coming, buddy. That's all I can say. Bugger what other people do and you find your own way. And like I said, everyone watches videos and you can gain so much out of a video, but it's not necessarily what you're watching the video for, if that makes sense. It's a good job I don't do YouTube videos. I'd have been locked up by now. A day, you got to do at least 1-0. I've said to Matthew, it's a good job I cut out a lot of the swearing I do. Normally down to weedy bins, plant pots, or the flipping hot weather being too hot. But I do like them jobs where you feel like giving up, but you don't. And then you get to the end, but the customer's like looking at you amazed. Because I think they just didn't think you could work like that, if that makes sense. And they probably thought you'd have given up ages ago, but you just get it done. And that's it, done and dusted. Yeah, like Ted's saying, it's little things we notice how people hold the poles, where they stand, or you might find why aren't they doing something a set way, then you find out that they would have been stood where you were thinking, but they can't because there was something in the way, but you just noticed it in another shot, that sort of thing. And then you sort of think, well, that's how they got around that. You get little tips, don't you? You think, well, I'll try that next time, that sort of thing. And it's always good to try different things. Like they say, there's more than one way to skin a cat and all that kind of stuff. And it's true. Right, well, I better draw it to a close soon because I've got to ring the missus up, have a chat with her, and try and get a good night's sleep. Hopefully everyone's going to sleep better because it's going to be cooler. That's what I'm hoping for. So Neil's just saying, everyone, if different, we all work our own way. So as long as you get the jobs done, yeah. And there's more than one way of doing something. I mean, that little micro brush, that's been absolutely brilliant. I used that. Yeah, keep my fingers crossed as well for a workable week, but not too hot. And because we all need the money coming in. Sorry, Kev's just saying, sorry. Loads of experts, just like on the Facebook groups, yeah, and online forums, people must waste a lot of their own time criticising others. It does make me laugh when people ask questions on some of these groups and then they get slated. And it's nice to see when someone comes up saying, this is a beginner's group, so why can't you ask a beginner question? And it is a pity that some people are like that. Yeah, I could, James. That's not a bad point, I suppose. She'd be happy if we went up that way, I know. And then maybe I could bribe her into getting me some customers. They've had a window cleaner, by the way, and she weren't happy with him. It was like an older guy, she said, turned up, didn't have a proper uniform and all that kind of stuff, or an attempt to look like, they had a uniform. Said he used to clean the windows on their house before they moved in. Can we clean it? They cleaned it. She wasn't happy. She said, look, I used to be a window cleaner. The glasses have dried all spotty. It was water-fed pole. And she said, and you haven't cleaned my back windows. And then the bloke, he said to him, in all fairness, he's saying, oh, it's a young lad. And maybe I should have told him what to do. But he's never showed up again. And then she said as well, they didn't send a text like we do the evening before saying we're coming round. She said, so how the hell am I supposed to unlock the gate when I know they're coming round? So I know she wasn't happy with him. Mark's just saying, I bought the micro brush the other day. I'll try it out when I get the chance. Yeah, no, I used it. It's really good in fascia softeners and gutters. I have mine on a swivel gooseneck though, so I know it can be a pain because it's a small brush. It flips over a lot easier than compared to a wider brush. But I still like it. It's nice and light, and it's definitely great on their conservatory roofs. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, it would be. They may move. Who knows? Anything can happen in life, couldn't it? I've joked to my wife saying, "You'll move up there, and they'll be moving down here if it does happen." Are they going to give you any commission, Matt? I've brought 2 over the years, and it didn't really pay off. Oh, the rounds, right? The rounds very priced low, and we ended up getting rid of half of them. They didn't come up for sale very often. No, and I think there's a lot to selling the round. I know if I was to sell something, I'd be as open as possible and try and invite someone to come and see everything for themselves and speak to all my customers, because I'd want them, if I do a good job of introducing to someone that's taken over my round, they're more likely to stay with him and therefore he's going to buy it. But it's the time consuming, isn't it? When you're on the timeline. So I think it's harder than what a lot of people think. Yeah, micro brush is good. Sorry, and Mills Cleaning is just saying, what about me? Which is true, because I believe you're the first person to mention to anyone about the micro brush. I think you talked to it about Matt. Then I went and brought it and thought it was amazing. And that's what Matt's just saying. So, yeah, the micro brush being sold out, I think, is all down to Mills Cleaning. So give credit due where credit is due. I think I've seen some of your videos on social media. I'll have to keep a lookout for them. Is that YouTube videos, is it? Because I try and follow some of you I see like on TikTok, Instagram and that. It's good to see what clips you put up. But I've not been putting them on mine because I always get people asking me for inquiries and I can't really take anyone on. And then I know they just think, why are you posting it? Oh, right, okay, YouTube. Well, I'll have to look on there. I'm sure I've seen a couple of your videos, mate. Yeah, it's interesting. It's all good. Still thinking, do I do pressure washing or not? Not 100% sure. Definitely not at the moment anyway with one van, that's for sure. I think if we got 2 vans maybe and just tap into existing customers. Because I was looking, I mean, honestly, I was looking at a lot of the houses are clean and they've all got small block paving driveways, little things like that that need cleaning. And then they trust you, don't they? And if you did that as well, maybe you'd get them. Don't know. Or do I just stick what I'm doing? Keep it simple, stupid, really, at the end of the day. Yeah, I do. I am busy and need some time to rest. Agree with that, Ched. get so worn out sometimes, but that's the military me is just keep going. Yeah, no, it's a good brush, Marcus. It's a handy little thing to have. If you don't get on with it, with the fascias, the soffits, and the gutters, it's definitely a fantastic brush for the conservatory roofs. And even if you didn't do the whole roof in it, it's just really good for the prestins and the finials, all the delicate little areas. So it's because it's lightweight, it saves an old man's back. Put it that way. It's good. Matt's just saying you got a review. Yeah, he said he's going to do a video on the micro brush. So it's coming out next Saturday. So we'll look forward to seeing that. I think it's a great little thing. I mean, I was amazed when I tried it on the roof. Oh, and then I've got that really big old roof to book in as well. The quote's been accepted for that. I think it's a Victorian conservatory roof. It's quite big, but it's like dome-shaped frosted glass, but it's mainly to get the moss off, which is grown on the... That's what I was trying to tell them. The roots would be underneath the framework and hard for me to get out. So it's going to take a while. But I've got an idea because I use a squeegee on a water-fed pole to get the moss out and then use my water-fed pole to clean everything. That's my idea anyway. You ain't going to know till you try it, are you? So that'll be a Saturday job. And I'll film that. Yeah, Chair, that's what I was thinking. It'll make a good video. Something totally different. And that's why I like the idea of cleaning it, because it's just not ordinary. It's something completely different. It's a customer. I didn't realise it was 2 years ago I'd cleared out their gutters. It's a big old house. Not sure if it's Victorian or Georgian. It's one of the two. But they had hedgehogs in, so I had to take the hedgehogs out, hoover the gutters out, clean the hedgehogs, put the hedgehogs back in the gutters. And I did that all the way around, cleaned the windows. I thought we did such a lovely job, but then we didn't hear anything of them again. But I think they're trying to do the windows themselves. And they'll use me every now and then to give everything a once over. But they said to me then, do you know anyone that can do the roof? And I said to them, I'm a bit unsure really, because I've not done anything like that. And being old and delicate, I think you'd need someone with a cherry picker or a company that specialises in these things, because it's probably going to leak and stuff like that. But when they asked me to redo the windows, they come out and said, please, can you do the roof? Because they said, we listened to what you had to say. We've done research and all we've found is it's best to do it with the water-fed poles. We'd rather you do it. We're aware it leaks now because we've lived there for a couple of years. We know where it leaks, and we know where it leaks depending on the wind with different buckets. So I said, yeah, I'll do it. So, and that's what I thought. It'd be something fun to do. Not that I need to do it or anything like that, but it's from these sort of jobs, you can learn so much doing something as opposed to not doing it, if that makes sense. So you just got to put yourself out there, really. That's what I'm looking forward to it. Kev saying the micro brush, I like it, but my old one lasted quite a bit longer than the last one I brought. It was identical, so not sure why. Yeah, so the quality of the build is in doubt there, which is the same with the Gardner poles from what people have been saying. Might not necessarily be anything to do with gardeners. It's obviously the people who are making them are taking the shortcuts, if that makes sense. Surely they'd have to let gardeners know, but perhaps they only know about it when their customers notice and complain. But it could be something that's out of their hands. Mills is just saying I scraped and soft washed a roof this week. Accidentally chemically burnt my knees. All bandages up at the minute. Oh no. Is that bad then, is it, Mills, or just superficial and will clear up? Just goes to show, innit? But I take it because it was this week, it's so hot, you couldn't wear the full PPE because you're just going to be sweating yourself, going man down, shat pants because of like heat exhaustion or something like that. Hey, Mark's looking forward to it, Matt. I wonder if a stiff brush would be any good on the moss on the Connie roof. Yeah, I was just wondering if it was hypo burns as well. Yeah, I had thought of that. Or my other backup plans, like I think, is with a squeegee, and I'll just kind of pull it out because I've done that sort of stuff before. Neil's just asking as well, what chems did you use? He's saying it was clear up. He was in full PPE for 2 days, but on the last day, okay, you're spraying from the ladders and you wore shorts. Yeah, just because it's too hot. 'Cause it's obviously not feasible, is it? Is that with hypo though, was it, mate? Kev's saying to Ched, I tried a stiff brush, bristle brush on my own conservatory a few years ago, and it roughed up the PVC surface a little bit. Yeah, this one's, I think, wooden frame, so it's a little bit of flaky paint. Back clear pro, so biocide. And Ted's just saying to you, Kev, as well, it's good to know. Yeah, biocide. Yeah, hopefully it'll be superficial, mate, and clear up. Yeah, I didn't know biocide could burn. Obviously, it does something. Because I thought it was more if you breathe it in or get it in your eyes. But it does say, though, doesn't it, to wear gloves and stuff like that when you're mixing it, as well as all the rest of the PPE. And they do say, I've got like a paper suit. Just shows, got to be careful when it comes to these chemicals, really, doesn't it? Because you see people doing things they shouldn't do, but they're getting away with it. You only need to get caught out once, I suppose. New PVC trim surfaces. Click send before could finish. Mill saying, yeah, it does sting. Okay, doesn't wash off straight away, which was my mistake. All right, you didn't wash it off. Didn't realise you got it on your knees. You wouldn't know when you're focused on something. You don't always notice, do you? You can dismiss it as an insect sting or something like that at first. Or you just want to get the job done. You're like, I'm not getting off this ladder till I finished. Near the end now. Yeah, Ched's just saying, hope you feel better. I hope you do as well, mate. Be interested to know what you can do about it, though. Was it a lot of biocide on you then, or just a small amount, mate? So I've biocided my in-laws' roof and the garage roof from Roof Cleans, and that's been it. Yeah, just keep an eye on it, mate. Have you got biocide in your eye, Nelly, before? Okay, so it's just a small amount. Yeah, everything else is covered up. It's just your knees. Oh, so it's like wearing long socks. Knobbly knees. I suppose as well, the knees are quite painful because it's an area of the skin that's going to stretch. So if it feels a bit sensitive and then you're moving it quite a lot as well, isn't it? It's like having a cut there on your knuckle, isn't it? It's always something that's moving. Probably doesn't help with the hot weather and skin getting the sun a bit as well. So apart from that, mate, how did the roof clean go, by the way? Hopefully it was all done. The customer's really happy. So Chid's just saying, button. Yeah, so if you've been working normal trousers, might have held the bio against your skin longer. Yeah, if it's soaked through from the trousers, like if it was hot water, then it sticks to your skin more and cause more damage. You've had it a few times. Stings like, yeah, I'll bet. So there you go, Mills. If Nelly's had it in the eye and he's turned out all right, I'm sure you'll be fine as well. So it went well. We'll do a video on it, but I'll give it a good few months. Oh yeah, to show that so you got a good before and after picture to it as well. That's a good idea, mate. No worries, Marcus. Hope everyone has a good week as well. So yeah, I think I'll call it to a close there. I've got, like I say, I've got a phone call the missus. She's up in Scotland, as you all know. Have a good week, Mark. And yeah, let's fingers crossed. The weather's kind of turned a bit, so it's definitely going to be cooler. So hopefully we can get through the work faster. But let's hope it's workable rather than it's gone the other extreme and we can't work. Get the money in the bank. We just need to string these few good months together. Like I say, so we're covered for the worst months, like December, for example. And we're all good to go. Yeah, everyone take care. Have a safe week out there. Hope everyone gets, like I say, all their work done and get through it. And then let's see you next week on the live. All right. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Stay safe. Happy days.